Hello, everyone. This is Endgame number 10 of the 100 Endgames You Must Know. Today we are starting the Knight versus Pawn endings. We just finished in the previous one the Rook versus Knight endgames, and yeah, we're starting this one where the pawn is on one of the four central squares and is already on the seventh rank. How to defend when you have the knight. So, and TLDR, it is a draw. The knight can stop the pawn from promoting uh, by either controlling the square in front of it, by being able to stand in front of the pawn, or by being able to stand by the side of the pawn, as we'll see. So let's just hop right in. So in this position on the board there, we can see it's white to move. And as long as they can stand in front of the pawn, this is a draw. For example, after king moves, knight f2 would secure the draw here. And there really isn't anything black can do. I think the geometry of this is really cool because with the pawn and the knight, it's just a wall that the black king cannot go around. So, for example, if black just goes king up, then, well, it's a knight fork, and white secures the draw. And if black goes further, well, now that gives white time to move their king. And as we'll see here, something like this could occur. And no matter what happens, like whenever the black king gets close, the knight can always scurry back to standing in front of the pawn and to the other side. And now the black king has to walk all the way around to try to attack it again. But it's all for naught since it is a draw. So whenever the knight can stand directly in front of the pawn, it is a draw for the side. Well, for both sides. It's a draw for both sides. With that being said, let's look at another example here. Here, we can see that the black king is in front of the pawn, and it's going to be much more difficult to get the knight in front of the pawn. But it's still a draw because the knight controls the pawn from the side. The author calls this lateral control, lateral side-to-side control. And so is white to move, and if they play knight e2 check, they can actually go back to d4, and now it's pretty evident that that black is not making a queen without it being taken, because after they push, it's a knight fork. So just in conclusion, the knight either needs to stand in front of the pawn or be able to attack from the side. Either way leads to a draw. Here, yeah, there's nothing really black can do at all to try to avoid it. Even something like king d1, for example, knight c3, and this setup again with the knight and the pawn making a wall for the king not being able to pass. We've just seen this. So yeah, this is endgame number 10, and the next endgames that we will be looking at are going to be about what happens if the pawn is not in one of the four central squares. What if it's on the knight's it's a knight's pawn, or if it's a rook's pawn? How do we deal with endgames then? So yeah, see you then.